Utter devastation. That's what officials are calling the scene in Texas this evening after landfall of one of the strongest hurricanes to hit the state in the last century. A look at the damage left behind by Harvey coming up. A completely different story back here at home as cooler and calmer weather settles in for our weekend. The first alert forecast coming up. And the search has just been suspended for the day for a missing boater who fell into Lake Murray while boating with his daughter Friday night. What we're learning about the man still missing this evening coming up in a live report.
Live, local, now. This is WIS News 10.
It's one of the strongest storms to hit the state of Texas in half a century. And this evening, officials say Harvey has caused at least one death in the coastal city of Rockport. Hurricane Harvey slammed the Texas coast as a Category 4 hurricane Friday night, but has since been downgraded to a tropical storm. It hit the small city of Rockport head on, leaving at least 12 people injured. Despite the winds dying down, the heavy rainfall remains the biggest threat.
Various key regions ranging from Corpus Christi to the Houston area, perhaps as much as between 20 and 30 more inches of rain could be coming down. That is coming down on already saturated ground and already filled up waterways, whether they be creeks, bayous, or rivers. And so there is the potential for very dramatic flooding.
Rockport city leaders say their town has been turned into a debris field, reporting damage to the school, library, and other public buildings. Really, the footage is just hard to look at, Tim.
It really is. I can't believe he just said that. Another 20 to 30 inches of rain on what's already fallen in parts of Texas.
And I understand really the problem is that Harvey won't move. It's just staying there.
No, in fact, I just issued a report here on our for the staff and for on Facebook. This thing is stationary, so just sitting there churning, just rain wave to wave. It's just awful. Well, Emily, this is what it looks like. This is their what we call the infrared view here, and this is where it really looks mean, right? This is the darker area you see here, the more taller the cloud tops are, the colder they are in the atmosphere, and that's an indication of certainly lots of heavy rain, and sure enough, that's it. So now it's down to a tropical storm, but it's just sitting here spinning, and it's going to be doing this conceivably for days on end. Heaviest rain continues to be now just east of Houston, but more heavy rain still continues. I think there's going to be more bands here. Here's another band that's going to plow into Houston here in a little bit. That's going to be at least a couple inches of rain, I would imagine. Victoria, Texas still getting it, and San Antonio getting the brunt of some rain right now. In fact, Houston's had numerous severe thunderstorms and tornadoes today. Remember that, don't forget, hurricanes produce tornadoes. So yeah, again, that's going to be the rule of thumb here for the next several days for our friends in Texas. Case in point, wind speed 65 miles per hour. It's stationary. It's not moving. And take a look at this. Hurricane Center says it's not going to move much at all. We're into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Maybe by Thursday it moves a little bit further towards the north. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But still, nonetheless, it's a scary time for our friends in Texas. And more on Harvey coming up. Meantime, for us, we've had some cloud cover for sure. Maybe one or two sprinkles, but the humidity's been lower. Notice where the rain is along the stationary front and along the coast. And that's where the rain's going to be as low pressure is going to ride that front and bring a little bit more shower activity towards Sunday and Monday for the coast. 88's where we're at now, 89 in Lexington. It's certainly been a warm day and will be a warm evening. Notice the temperatures are in the 80s, but relatively nice. 79 by the time we get to 11 o'clock. We'll look at the rest of the weekend forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Emily?
Thanks, Tim. Right now at 6, the search has been suspended this evening for a missing boater who disappeared on Lake Murray Friday evening. Our Caroline Patrikas joins us live near the search area with new details about the man still missing. Caroline?
Emily, DNR just identified the missing boater minutes ago. We have learned that he is a 35-year-old Durham Alexander DeLara. And we've also learned late this afternoon that he was a former Columbia firefighter, and that's according to the Columbia Fire Department. He was not an active firefighter at the time. Now, the activity on the water is dying down late this afternoon after another day of searching here on Lake Murray. The Department of Natural Resources tells us they were unsuccessful in a recovery or a rescue, but we have learned that they'll pick back up the search tomorrow. Now, there's searching for that father, Delara, who likely went overboard yesterday around 7:30 in the evening. A witness told us on scene yesterday and today that a 4-year-old little girl was drifting in the boat alone when she was pulled by shore to a neighbor who lives here at Panorama Point. Now, the little girl was not injured, but says it was her dad who was on the boat. Neighbors say that the little girl is now safe with her mother. DNR tells us that this search is very widespread and they have covered a lot of ground because they are not sure exactly where he went into the water at. Now, if they are, and they were unsuccessful today, according to Captain Robert McCullough with DNR, but he says that they're going to pick back up bright and early tomorrow morning. We are going to continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as soon as we learn them. For now, live here on Lake Murray, I'm Caroline Patrikis, WIS News 10.
Thanks for that, Caroline. Also new at 6, 2 South Carolina power customers are suing the board of Santee Cooper, accusing the utility company of unconstitutionally raising rates to pay for a failed nuclear project in Fairfield County. The Associated Press says the lawsuit was filed in Berkeley County, where Santee Cooper is located. The Santee Cooper and SCE&G decided late last month to abandon the VC Summer nuclear plant in Fairfield County after both utilities spent nearly $10 billion on the project. The abandonment left thousands without a job. Utility customers had already paid $2 billion on the project through rate hikes. Kershaw County officials say one person was killed in an ATV accident while hunting this morning. Officials say a group of people were hunting on Red Bank Farm when 72-year-old Alan Wooten Sr. was riding a four-wheeler down a dirt road. Wooten's ATV hit a tree lying across the road and flipped, throwing him off the four-wheeler. Officials say it happened this morning around 9. Wooten was pronounced dead at the scene. Today, about 190 men and women began a deployment to Afghanistan at a time when the president is calling for more American troops over there. The South Carolina National Guard hosted their family members and friends for a ceremony this morning. Our Chad Mills was there.
Through cheers and tears, their eyes are glued to the sky. They're not here to watch an eclipse. They've gathered at McIntyre Joint National Guard Base for a different reason.
Praise be to the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle.
Some brand new officer. Our job's never easy.
All right, bring that on. Okay.
No, especially when you're faced with what we're doing and going into Afghanistan, it's going to be a tough job.
Lieutenant Colonel Brian Pipkin is commander of this helicopter unit, the 1st 151st Attack Reconnaissance Battalion. Their next stop will be Fort Hood for training before deploying to Afghanistan.
I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
This deployment was scheduled about a year ago, but happens just days after the president called for a boosted American military effort in Afghanistan.
As you know, they are pumping more troops back into the region, which also, increases your need for additional air coverage.
Sergeant First Class Andy Goza will lead some of that coverage with Apaches like these. Meanwhile, his wife Mims will await his return like she's done before.
Last time when he was gone, my cell phone became another appendage because I never knew when he was going to call.
But this time's different for both of them. This time, Andy will have Mims and Ava on his mind.
She's 10 months old, and she's just awesome. She's a go-getter, and she's really changed our lives.
He's going to miss a lot of milestones that she's going to accomplish in this next year while he's out.
But even as the reality of this bittersweet gathering sets in, Andy and the others still stand strong, as do the spouses and the children they leave behind. Perhaps the best motivation of all, to come home safe.
Please just pray for us. Pray for the families. Pray for the guys as they go overseas and they fight for us. They fight for our freedom. They fight for our country, and they fight for us.
In Eastover, Chad Mills, WIS News 10.
Great story, Chad. The deployment is expected to last about a year. Coming up, heavy rain continues to fall across the Texas coast this evening as now Tropical Storm Harvey hits thousands of residents pretty hard. More on the damage caused so far by the storm. Plus, all's quiet back here at home this weekend as cooler weather takes a hold over the Midlands. The full First Alert forecast coming up. Harvey has weakened and has since been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm, but catastrophic and life-threatening flooding is still a major concern. Stacey Cohen reports.
More than 22 inches of rain is forecasted to flood parts of Texas as Harvey weakens in strength but is in no hurry to move on as it stalls over the Lone Star State. Houston remains a big concern as that city typically floods after just 2 or 3 inches of rain. Hundreds of thousands of people along the Texas Gulf Coast have no power as 130-mile-per-hour winds uprooted trees, tore houses apart, and collapsed entire buildings, leaving streets littered with debris. Widespread devastation is being reported by the mayor of Rockport, who also advised residents riding out the storm to write their name and social security numbers on their forearms so they could help first responders should they need to identify a body. Governor Greg Abbott said Saturday they are focusing on evacuees.
We have focused on working with and supporting evacuees, especially from around the Corpus Christi area. Still, the most important thing that all Texans can do who are affected by the storm is to put your life and the protection of your life first and foremost.
People are being urged to stay off the roads and seek shelter before the flooding becomes critical. President Donald Trump has issued a major disaster declaration and plans on traveling to Texas next week to assess the damage. In Rockport, I'm Stacey Cohen.
And if that doesn't get you to leave, if he's telling you to write your social security number on your forearm,
nothing else will.
then I'm not sure what will. Very scary situation what's happening there.
Yeah, it sure is, for sure. Let's look at some of the views right now. The whole broad picture here, Emily, for sure, as we have certainly some changes coming our way, some cooler weather, but this is it. This is, you can see Harvey there on the left of your screen. You'll also notice little area of low pressure here in Florida. That is going to be riding this little stationary front and give us an opportunity for some windy, breezy conditions over the next couple days and some showers. So there's this little area here, very disorganized. It has the potential, maybe once it gets across Florida in the Atlantic and becoming a tropical depression. We'll have to wait and see, but it's not nearly as organized as this. This is now Tropical Storm Harvey, but look at it, it's stationary. It's just sitting here spinning, and it's still getting moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. These bands of rain continue to be very heavy, pounding parts of Houston, even tornadic storms, as we would expect in a tropical storm. In fact, we get most of our tornadoes from tropical storms here in South Carolina. Look at these bands of rain still continuing. Beaumont, Texas is there. Here's Lake Charles, and not that far from New Orleans. All of that basically could still say it's part of Harvey for sure. So it's going to be a rain event for Texas for days on end. Wind speeds at 65 miles per hour now. It's not moving. It's just going to sit here and spin into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and even the Hurricane Center says maybe even into Thursday. We'll have to wait and see if that actually pans out. But close to home here, it's been a really nice day. We're at 88 degrees, but check out that humidity at 42%, and the dew point's relatively low. Got an east-northeasterly wind. That has helped keep it was certainly warm today, but not nearly as humid as it has been. So here's the forecast. Warm and breezy, 87 for tomorrow after an overnight low of 69. So we'll see the 60s for the overnight hours. And then I'm going to put some chances of showers in here with that low that's coming off the coast. I think it'll be breezy still for Monday with a chance of showers, mid-80s. And then we'll just keep a chance of showers in the forecast. I don't see any moisture from Harvey now coming our way at this point. Again, those are just typical afternoon shower chances with that front in the area. But notice no big 90s. We'll be in the upper 80s. Not a bad forecast, but something we'll continue to watch between that low and Harvey over the next couple of days. Emily?
Thanks, Tim. Ahead this evening, the capes were flowing this afternoon in Columbia for this year's Soda City Comic-Con. A full look at our Palmetto weekend events after the break. In your Palmetto weekend, the feathers were flying today in Kershaw County today for the Bethune Chicken Strut. It's a weekend festival with fun for all ages. This morning featured a parade showcasing winners of the festival's beauty pageant, as well as plenty of live music and good food. The festival's proceeds go towards Bethune first responders and the Boy Scouts. And superheroes of all shapes and sizes are in the capital city this weekend for Soda City Comic-Con. Hundreds were on hand inside the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center today to meet their favorite superheroes. Soda City Comic-Con is hosting more than 50 retail vendors selling everything from popular comics, toys, and collectibles. Today's event just ended but picks back up tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 4. Coming up, college football kicks off the 2017 season across the country today. In Las Vegas, emergency crews are finishing preparations for tonight's huge matchup in the ring between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Sports is next. Well, kickoff may still be a week away for college football fans here in the Palmetto State, but today is somewhat of a college football appetizer as programs across the country got the 2017 season kicked off. Out west, Oregon State visited the Rockies for the opening matchup of the 2017 season against Colorado State. The game featured plenty of offense between the two. That one just went final with Colorado State winning 58-27. It's fight night in Vegas and the medical community is getting ready. Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather takes on UFC champion Conor McGregor tonight in what could be one of the top grossing sports events in history. And the city expects massive crowds around the T-Mobile Arena Saturday and plenty of accidents, so a dozen extra ambulances will be added to the area.
We bring in all of our off-duty people. We ask anybody, hey, listen guys, you know we need some extra help. Anybody willing to come in and work some extra shifts? And our employees are always eager to step up. We always like to help this community.
And at least one ambulance company says it's treating it as New Year's Eve when it comes to medical calls. Tonight's fight is scheduled to begin at 9:30. A cheerleading coach has been fired by Denver Public Schools in the midst of a controversy involving his tactics for teaching cheerleaders how to do the splits. A video showing a cheerleader screaming in pain while forced into the split position has gone viral. And as Emily Allen reports, the district superintendent says serious mistakes were made by school leaders.
What happened was wrong. There were serious mistakes made.
Tonight, even a school district admits it's still learning.
That's partly why I'm here tonight, to recognize there were serious mistakes made.
Superintendent Tom Boasberg says this horror can't happen again.
This has been an extraordinarily painful incident.
East High School leaders, Coach Ozell Williams, a cheerleader, and her parents all met in June to discuss what happened in this video, the forced splits. But the school sided with the coach, and Williams kept his job.
We were wrong not to have taken certain actions in June, and we are doing everything in our power to ensure the safety and well-being of every one of our students.
But several employees remain on leave, including East High School's principal and the assistant principal, who's also the athletic director. And an investigation will decide if they'll come back.
An independent investigation of exactly who knew what, when.
That same investigation will determine how to fix lines of communication so these incidents don't slip through the cracks.
Clearly, in this instance, there was insufficient oversight of what happened. There was insufficient follow-through to what happened, and that needs to change.
The school district plans to make the results of that investigation public so everyone can study what happened and learn from it.
The district says it's hiring an outside attorney to see who else may be at fault for letting this happen. We'll be right back with a final check of your weather. Tim, all eyes are really on Harvey, but back here at home, we're sort of catching a break over the next couple of days.
Yeah, break from the heat, which has been nice. For sure, it's a warm day, but the humidity's been really low. It'll be an absolutely beautiful evening. Warm, breezy tomorrow, and then a slight chance of a shower really through the 7-day period. Temperatures in the 80s.
Looks really nice, Tim. I'll take it. Thanks for watching. We're back here at 11.